Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, October the 4th. I hate this like this. I really do. But we've got 30 additional deaths that we've got to report. You'll see our map is really turning green now, which is really good. And I don't know if these are just delays in getting them in the system or whatever, but at the same time, it's such a shame. It's really, really sad. But the 7,407th death is a 77-year-old female from Greenbrier County. The 7,408th death is a 46-year-old male from Logan County. The 7,409th death, an 80-year-old male from Harrison County. The 7,410th death is a 46-year-old female from Clay County. The 7,411th death is a 78-year-old male from Logan County. The 7,412th death is an 81-year-old male from Lincoln County. The 7,413th death, an 87-year-old female from Mason County. The 7,414th death, an 80-year-old female from Upshur County. The 7,415th death, a 97-year-old female from Cabell County. The 7,416th death, a 79-year-old female from Harrison County. These are ones that, they're all bad. They're all bad. You know, when you lose a wonderful 100-year-old West Virginian, you're losing wisdom beyond belief. But when we lose one of our kids, it's just, it's gut-wrenching to me. The 7,417th death is a 24-year-old male from Mingo County. 7,418th death, a 69-year-old male from Berkeley County. 7,419th death, a 90-year-old male from Raleigh County. The 7,420th death, a 74-year-old female from Grant County. The 7,421st death, a 76-year-old female from Wirt County. The 7,422nd death, a 93-year-old female from Cabell County. The 7,423rd death, an 85-year-old male from Greenbrier County. The 7,424th death, a 99-year-old male from Fayette County. And God bless him. The 7,425th death, an 81-year-old female from Wetzel County. The 7,426th death, an 89-year-old female from Ohio County. The 7,427th death, a 57-year-old male from Wood County. The 7,428th death, a 68-year-old female from Raleigh County. The 7,429th death, a 78-year-old male from Cabell County. The 7,430th death, a 71-year-old female from Cabell County. The 7,431st death, a 65-year-old male from McDowell County. The 7,432nd death, a 42-year-old male from Taylor County. The 7,433rd death, an 85-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 7,434th death, a 71-year-old male from Summers County. The 7,435th death, a 66-year-old male from Upshur County. The 7,436th death in West Virginia is a 56-year-old female. The 7,436th death is a 56-year-old female from Nicholas County. Please keep them in your prayers. Please, if you know them, call them. We can't let them feel alone, please. Active cases in West Virginia are 1,028, 274 new positive cases in the last 24 hours. Daily positivity rate, we must not have tested hardly any at all, 9.02%. Cumulative rate is at 8.57. The recovered cases are now at 593,056. We're below 200 that are hospitalized, 196, 27 in the ICU units, and 10 are on ventilators. And you can see by our map, it's finally almost all green again. Before I go any further, I've got to just tell you just this. Honestly, I know this as well as I'm sitting here. Reading these names, basically, 30 folks that we lost in West Virginia. and a 24-year-old we lost, a 99-year-old we lost. You know, it's tragic beyond belief. You see, our state's almost all green now. Anybody and everybody knows that bad weather's coming and we're going to be indoors more than we are now. Absolutely, we can live with this. Please consider your booster shots. This Omicron deal is really, really infectious, and it's going to travel probably through all of us. If you have your booster shots, if you have your vaccination, the odds are, and I'm only taking this because I'm not a doctor, all I can do is listen to the advice of the superstars that have been with us forever. Our coronavirus star, Dr. Marsh, Dr. Amjad, the docs are telling us point blank, absolutely, and all the data that is assimilated by General Hoyer and all the people, you know, Secretary Crouch, all the different people, everything tells us that if you are vaccinated, if you're boosted and everything, the chances of you being hospitalized with this are low. The chances of death are extremely rare. But absolutely, you have got to know we can live with this, and please consider. We'll all, every last one of us, will be respectful to your freedoms if you say, no, I'm not doing it. But absolutely, we're going to continue to urge and continue to try to get you to consider. Numbers-wise, they continue to get a little bit better, but they're just slow getting better, and the sun's shining, and everybody will run to get this booster shot, at some point in time if we don't watch out, and we don't want that. We just want you to absolutely consider. The vaccine calculator's up. It'll tell you when to get your booster shots or when to get vaccinated, and when your shots are due. From the standpoint of the COVID vaccine info line, it's all up. We have 78 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities. That's way down. We still have none in our church community. It's fantastic. In corrections, we have 37 inmates and 18 staff that have this right now. That's really great. From the standpoint of the homeowner assistance program, it's still available to you. It's really significant dollars. If you'll just take the time to call us and see if you qualify, could really, really, really help you and also be beneficial to our state, like I've said a bunch of times. From the standpoint of giving blood, please consider, please consider. Today I'm going to be in Parkersburg at the Parkersburg Courthouse Annex at 3 p.m., in talking about Amendment 2, and my feelings about Amendment 2 are just really, really, really strong and really simple, from the standpoint that I do believe we're hooking together with Amendment 2, the passage of Amendment 2, the car tax. Why is that there? I mean, it's there just simply, so you'll vote for it. At the end of the day, I think it's shallow thinking from the standpoint. I am all for, I've said it 1,000 times, I'm all for tax relief all across the board. I mean, there's no question whatsoever. I'm all for tax relief all across the board for our people. But I know the number one most appealing tax relief that will draw people to West Virginia is the personal income tax. And I know if we continue down this pathway, that will be a distant memory. No matter what anybody says, that will be a distant memory. And I also know that we're giving up local control and we're putting the control in Charleston. It's just like giving up state control and putting the control in Washington, D.C. I just don't think it's smart money. Tomorrow I'll be in Martinsburg and in Clarksburg and in Charlestown, doing the same thing. I wish anyone and everyone to come out. Yesterday, our revenue numbers came out. They're phenomenal. They're just absolutely just the greatest of the greatest of the greatest. You know, we're another 192.8 million up for the month of September. Total for the 3 months this year in July, August, and September. Our year end was June the 30th. You know, July, August, and September now have $427 million of surplus. It is, you know, it is just incredible, you know, how this state is running. But with that all being said, is there anybody in the world of sound mind that doesn't believe that there is always real possibilities that we're going to have bumps in the road? In everything that goes on in life, you have bumps in the road. Severance tax is a great big time contributor today. I've seen the coal business where prices were just absolutely so off the chart, it was unbelievable. In the 70s, unbelievable, off the chart. And then all of a sudden for 20 years, I don't mean for a year or so, but starting in the very early 80s for 20 years, prices on coal were so low it was off the chart. I've seen it. I've seen it absolutely just go up and down and all over the place. Literally, if you are a believer that the state of West Virginia is going to stay on this kind of pathway forevermore and never have a bump in the road, but if you have a significant bump in the road and you place all this control in Charleston, that's what I'm talking about, and out of the hands of the local economies in their counties, it is a risk. It is a big, big, big risk. Now, that's what my concern is, wholeheartedly. These revenue numbers are out, they're off the chart. You know, I couldn't be more proud, but at the same time too, what we need to do is we need to be putting money back in the pockets of the hardworking West Virginians today. That's why I proposed a 10% cut in our income tax. It would have put money right back in the pockets of our people today. Now, really and truly, if we go through and we continue down the pathway, pass Amendment 2 or don't pass Amendment 2, it will be a long time coming, and you got people that are out there that are hurting. You know you're hurting. You know that. Gas prices, $5. Literally, everything in the grocery store off the chart. You know, people that are working deserve our support in every way. You know, I'm telling you, I am all for big corporations coming to the state of West Virginia. It's the greatest thing in the world. And I am all for out-of-state corporations coming to West Virginia. It's the greatest thing under the sun. That's really good stuff, isn't it? But at the end of the day, really and truly, none of them are asking me for things that we can't provide right today. Now, if we absolutely take away our income stream from our counties to give them something extra, then we're just going to be hopeful that they're going to bring more opportunities and more jobs here. We're going to be hopeful of that. But the people that get up every day, get their dinner buckets, and go to work every single day deserve us to help them today, right today. That's all there is to it. And that's what I'm trying to do. Now, as far as the car tax, I'd be the first one out of the blocks that would say, let's do it. Let's do it. But for gosh sakes of living, let's get moving in regard to the personal income tax, because that is going right into people's pockets. You know, we can't get it off the bubble. Last thing I've got, and we're going to be joined by Rob Cunningham, and Rob is the Deputy Secretary for the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security. Rob, we are announcing today a school safety plan. We've done really comprehensive work with the FBI and the state police and the emergency management folks, the local law enforcement, the schools, everybody. And this very comprehensive report, is one more step to ensure the safety of our schools and our kids. You've seen the tragedies that have happened. and they've happened all across this land. And we know we're not immune to a tragedy that could happen here. So we've taken steps to make sure that we bring everybody together, that if, God forbid, we had a bad incident that was happening here in West Virginia, all the agencies would be coordinating together, you know, and we would move as quickly as possible, and we wouldn't be standing around, you know, wondering who's going to do what, and have more tragedy happen to our children. So, Rob, you're on today, and tell us about this great program and all the work you've done.
Well, thank you, Governor. I've been really looking forward to this day. The last 3 or 4 months, we've been working across state government and federal government to develop this plan. What this plan does is it provides a great foundation for the future to keep all of our children and all of our schools safe. This has been an extensive collaboration between the West Virginia Department of Education, the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, the School Building Authority, our state and local law enforcement partners. Even today, we are completing a training where we have had educators, administrators, and law enforcement all meeting with Colonel Dan Stebbins, who is a retired colonel from the Connecticut State Police, and he's been sharing his experiences from mass casualties, and we've learned from what he experienced, so we don't make those same mistakes. The last 2 days has really been eye-opening to a lot of people, and I look forward to implementing several of Colonel Stebbins' recommendations. Our school safety program, it relies heavily on preventing a violent incident. We rely heavily upon the DHHR and addressing the mental health issues to recognize when we have a problem so we can intercede. In this collaboration, as we mentioned, the FBI to date has already trained 12,000 West Virginians in school safety and school shooting recognition. The Department of Education, they jumped right in. They provided us a $2 million grant to establish a school safety program. With that money, we're going to have state school safety officers whose sole responsibility in the state of West Virginia is school safety. What we've run into is we have people in each county who does state school safety, but they wear many hats. So now we're going to have people that are focused 100% on school safety. These state school safety officers are going to be members of the West Virginia Protective Services Division. And they're, like I said, they're going to be focused 100% on our children's safety in our schools. Another big portion of this initiative, the school safety initiative, is that we are using a platform called My Mobile Witness. It's the CSend app. It makes it very streamlined, very easy for anyone, all citizens, to report a concern, an incident. If they see something, all they do is they're a couple clicks away from being able to send that information to a centralized location, which it will go to emergency management, to the watch center, and the watch center will send it immediately out to the people it needs to go to. So what this school safety initiative does is it provides one uniform approach to get all first responders, all citizens, all teachers, all students, all on the same page, moving in the same direction to reach the ultimate goal of keeping our children safe in schools. The one thing we need all of our citizens to do is we need them to go to their app store and download the My Mobile Witness CSend app. And when you do that, you register, you are our children's eyes and ears for helping to keep them safe in our communities and our schools. you see something, you can take a picture, you can take a video, and you make a couple keystrokes, and you will get that information to the place it needs to be. Our DHS PIO will be releasing a detailed press release this afternoon that will outline everything that I've discussed, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think we have a great foundation to move forward and use this initiative to grow and make not only our schools but our state a lot safer place. So thank you, sir.
No, Rob, thank you, and thank you for all you do all the time. You know, let me just say just this: we're not immune to this happening. I mean, it can happen, and it can happen in West Virginia tomorrow. With all that being said, what have we done? I've surely directed our Homeland Security to do a very comprehensive look all the way from top to bottom. How we can absolutely make it more streamlined, make it better, make it absolutely to where everybody's running to the fire at the same time. For God's sakes of living, you know what happened at Uvalde, and it was not good. It was not good. I mean, can you imagine little kids calling on cell phones and people trying to figure out a plan and standing outside and little kids calling on a cell phone saying, please, please, somebody come to our rescue. And more died. It absolutely, without any question, you know, I have absolutely directed these people to absolutely do any and everything they can, everything within their power to develop a plan that will make it, you know, better. It won't make it impossible from happening. We will not be immune. And absolutely, we need to be ready at all times. You know, I pray with all in me that, that there'll never be another incident anywhere in the land. You know, I'm in and out of the schools all the time. You know, I see our little kids and I see how great they are. You know, from time to time, sure, in education, we can make things better, and we want to always strive to make things better. But if you haven't been in one of our schools, and you haven't really been with our children and see that their love for their teachers or their cooks, the service personnel, and all the different people, the love that goes on in those schools, and absolutely the support systems for everything, all the great work communities and schools are doing, and whatever it may be, from administrators all the way down. If you haven't been there and seen that, you need to go look, and you need to absolutely just talk to the kids. You know, sure, we can do a lot better in a lot of different ways, but one thing we've absolutely got to do is try with all in us all the time to try to make things as safe as we can possibly make them. God forbid if it would ever happen here, but no question about it, it can. And with all that being said, we ought to always all join in prayer to see that it doesn't happen anywhere. I mean, it is really, really important that our kids feel safe, and that absolutely great learning it goes on in our school systems, as well as lots and lots of other really good stuff. So I salute all those that are involved in everything. I salute Rob and the Homeland Security Group in West Virginia that, you know, under the guidance of Jeff Sandy, that have been so instrumental in all this good work and everything. But I ask first and foremost to God above to see never will an incident happen like this in West Virginia, or really more importantly, see that no other incident will ever happen again. I guess that's all I've got right now, guys.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Well, good morning. As the governor has implored all of us, we at this point should not be complacent, even though we are seeing our map become more green. As the governor pointed out today when he read the names of the people that have died, more and more data that's coming out really does underscore the incredible importance of getting the new Omicron booster shot as soon as possible. We know, looking across our borders to Europe, where it's getting colder, that we're seeing multiple countries now increasing the number of COVID cases that they are seeing. And some are seeing increased hospitalizations, others aren't. It looks like that there are some new variants that are starting to take hold in some places in Europe. Particularly, there's a variant called BQ1.1. And even though it's a different letter, it's sort of an extension of the BA5 variant. This variant seems to have about a 10% growth advantage over some of the other variants, including BA5. And this is about the same level of growth benefit that we saw when the Delta variant overtook the Alpha variant. Remember, the Delta variant was from India, the Alpha variant from England. And when the BA2 variant overtook the BA1 variant, and also when the BA5 variant overtook the BA2 variant. So we're really dealing with about the same kind of growth advantage. In England and the United Kingdom, we saw about an 8-fold increase in the growth of this BQ1.1 variant over about 19 days. And while the numbers are still not huge, that growth advantage is concerning. And this variant is more resistant than BA5. So it would presumably be able to spread faster and to be able to navigate the immune system better. We know that the COVID mRNA shots, the Pfizer and Moderna, including the new Omicron booster shot, are very effective in reducing the risk of severe disease, hospitalization, and death. But a recent study that came out looking at data from 10 states and over 890,000 adults demonstrated that these mRNA boosters are really very effective, but they start to wane in about 4 to 5 months after the last vaccine. So that's the reason why it's particularly important with the winter coming up for all of our citizens who are eligible, which includes all Americans over 12 years old, to choose to get the new Omicron booster shot, because not only does that shot provide immediate help with antibody production, which binds and neutralizes the COVID virus, but also it sets our immune system to be able to protect us against even more severe consequences of the disease. And we've seen that over and over again. And as we've pointed out before, the people generally in the country and in West Virginia who've gotten sick and or who've died of COVID-19 are older Americans, older West Virginians, people over 50. But as the governor read today, even young people are not completely protected against the impact of COVID-19. So that's the reason why every West Virginian and every American should consider and choose to get the Omicron booster shot, and also an influenza shot, a flu vaccine, because we also know, as we've said before on these briefings, that in Australia, where we see the opposite seasons than us, so they have just gotten through their winter, they saw an early winter flu outbreak, and they saw a more significant flu outbreak than they were predicting. So that puts us at risk for having the same impact here in the United States. So please also get your flu vaccine. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marsh. Secretary Bill Crouch and Dr. Anamjad are also joining us today and are available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from John Shaver with WV News.
Good morning, everybody. I have a question about the initiative for the state schools. Number one, do we have an estimation on how much this will cost overall? And two, on some of the items like the school safety officers, do we have any idea how soon that is to be implemented? Thank you.
Rob, you're going to have to answer this, sir.
Yes, sir. Right now, we have a budget of $2 million. It came from the Department of Education. And by the end of this year, beginning of next year, we should have our officers in place.
All right, thanks, John. Next to Kim Kagi with WSAZ.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is a question specifically for Deputy Secretary Rob Cunningham. I wanted to ask you, when we're talking about school resource officers, how many, think about the numbers. We have 55 county schools. So are we looking to have an SRO at each school, or will it be on a county basis? Thank you.
The school safety officers program that I'm speaking of will just complement what we have in our school resource officers and our prevention resource officers, all commonly known as SROs or PROs. Your question is about if we're going to have them at every school. That would be the ultimate goal. I see several hurdles to get over. Number one, being able to find manpower to fill those positions, and secondly, coming up with the funding. So if we could find the people, to put them there, I'm sure we could find the funding, because this school safety is paramount to our future.
All right, thank you. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, I appreciate everybody's questions. To Rob, I think they've done an amazing job, and as far as putting together what they've put together, I would say to the media, I would say to Rob, I would say to our legislature, whatever it takes. I mean, whatever it takes, whether it takes 2 million or 25 million, or whether it takes 100 million. Whatever it takes, we do have the resources today, and I would gladly stand behind whatever it takes to make our kids feel safe, be safe, and to make our parents feel the exact same stuff. Without any question, this can happen, and it can happen here. And for God's sakes of living, we don't need to sit around and say, well, we didn't think it was going to happen here, or this or that and everything. I salute the program that has been placed forward, the initiative to make things more safe. But right behind all of that, I want again to emphasize, as I have done over and over and over, and I believe wholeheartedly the legislature would stand right with me. Whatever it takes, we've got the resources, and we need to do whatever it takes. I guess from that standpoint, the only thing I'd go back to is just adding just this, and that is just what I said earlier. This Omicron deal is very, very, very infectious. You've got to have your prior vaccinations to take the booster shot, but absolutely, with all in me, please, people, get your booster shot. Get that booster shot. It is so important right now. And in some way, somehow, we'll learn to live with this. It's probably not going to go away. And eventually, maybe. But right now, it's going to be here a while. And we better all realize that. And we better stop your governor from coming in here reading name after name after name, because, I've done every one, but 7,436 is way, 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 way too many. So nevertheless, let's salute the initiative, on school safety, and let's say that's a beginning. Let's do more. Let's absolutely do more. So with that, thank you so much. Keep all of us in your prayers, and I'm sure we'll be prayerful and keep all you in your prayers, or in our prayers. Thank you so much.